Hi everyone, it's Lynn again from The Stitch. So this is part 2 for the Roman Josi quilt, which I explained why we're doing it. So what I wanted to do today, there was confusion about what picture I should use. Again, you should always get Brights for any picture you touch. So first, shout out to John Russell, who is I think he's the team, I don't know his real title, but he's the team photographer for the Predators. And he actually shared with me a picture that gave me specific permission to use. So it's kind of hard to tell, but it'll be similar to this. That's the new picture. And the size of it's going to be 57 by 66, so still a pretty big quilt. But since I'd kind of already started the process in the earlier video, I wanted to kind of back up since I had to change pictures and stuff. So talk through what actually I'm going to be doing. And then we're going to do some time lapse and you'll see it kind of come together. But I want to give you a full picture of how long it takes to do one of these also, just from time-wise, because it's not, and you're not going to get these done in a day. So I've kind of blocked off a significant amount of time where I'm not teaching the next few days, and so I just have time in my sewing room to binge some TV and work on Roman Josi. So anyway, but I spent an hour at the quilt store the other day, and with this type of quilt, it's a mosaic, so you're essentially, the program itself digitizes the picture down to specific colors. So this one's got 78 colors in it. And you can see they're all numbered, right? So my job right now is to match the color and the number to fabric. So like when I was at the quilt store, and it took me about an hour the other day, I probably pulled 30 bolts and had an 1/8 of a yard cut off each bolt. And then I'm going to supplement with my stash, not to say that I've got a little stash. But there was a lot of grays, so I had to pull like every gray I could find in this, for this quilt, which some of the grays are there's a slight difference in the value and saturation and what it is. But I'm using mostly solids, some batiks, some grunge. I do like the grunge and how it looks. That's where I'm kind of sticking to, because I don't know, I think it'd feel weird if Roman Josi had a big flower on his face or something. I think that's kind of weird. So the grunge fabrics, the solids, and the batiks, because I like the grunge because they give me texture, where it's not perfect. I really like this picture that John Russell let me use. It's if you know anything about nonverbals, and I'll try to put the real picture out there because it gives you much more detail than you're gonna get in the quilt once we do the quilt. But Roman Josi's got his tongue sticking out, with his concentration. And if you know anything about nonverbals, like that's a sign of concentration if you got your tongue sticking out, which is kind of funny. So, but my task is to match all this fabric that I told you to the colors, right? So that's part of my first task, and I need to cut 3/4 inch strips of each one of these, according to how much I need in the chart. So that I'll be determining today and kind of figuring out. And in doing that, what I do is I went out and got these fish tackle boxes at Walmart. And they've got these little dividers in them, and I'll number each divider saying this is fabric 1, fabric 2, fabric 3. So that I'm keeping track of my fabric according to what number I assigned it to, which is really going back to my pattern in the chart. And just so you know, my second task after I organize all the fabric, because you don't want to get that confused, simply because there's 15 grays in this, and I want the right gray attached to the right value so that it matches up to the picture. Okay, so that's that. Then my next task is to take the pattern itself, and I think there's, I don't know, 59 pages of pattern, and just to show you one. So it's the program itself is really a paint by number. So it's difficult in that organization aspect of it, but going together, it kind of takes some of the mystery out of actually creating the photo. But so see how the pattern has these numbers on it? That I'm matching back to the fabric that I chose. Now the computer program, which again is Quilted Photo, you can get it at quiltedphoto.com. It allows you to do realistic color, and it also allows you to do grayscale. When I learned, I did grayscale at first, and I have some very successful quilts that are grayscale, and I love them. But I decided to try realistic color with Roman, so we'll see how that works out. Anyway, all right, once you get the pattern all taped together and all together, which, we'll do that, then you get these two products called Tricot. I think it's called Tricot. It's a fusible knit interfacing and underlining. So what it is it's a knit kind of thing, but it's got glue on one side. And so what I'll do is I'll lay that on top of my pattern. That will give me a foundation, because you're cutting all your fabric up into 3/4 inch strips and 3/4 inch squares, so they're tiny. And I'm gluing them down. This is not a sewing until I get to the quilting stage. This is it's an art piece, so it's not all pieced traditionally like we do quilts. So this is my foundation. And then what I do, and this is the craziness, is I use a product called, and I had to order this online, called Steam-A-Seam 2. And Steam-A-Seam 2 is another glue-based product that's sticky on both sides. So it's got paper that you peel back and you stick down, and then you have paper that you peel off the other side that you're going to stick your fabric to according to your map that you've created with your pattern. So those are the things that need to happen next, and that's kind of the next stage in the process, is to prep the pattern and the fabric before it starts coming together. So that's where I'm headed actually today. And just to give you, I also wanted to kind of mark the time of how much time I've spent on this so far, and let's just see how long it takes to get it all done, from the beginning stages to the the quilted final product. So I spent about an hour at the quilt store picking out some fabric, and that's part of my time. So now I'm going to, let's see, it's about 10 o'clock in the morning here in hot Atlanta, Georgia. So I've got to organize my fabric and make sure that I match up the 70 whatever colors to the fabric that I have. Make sure I have enough. There's a map. It tells me how much I need. An 1/8 of a yard's probably going to get it for most of them. A couple of them I need more because there's a lot of white space. So I'm going to use some specific white for the ice and the sideboards of the arena and stuff. So I'm pretty excited. I'm going to be Scotch tape. You need Scotch tape, Tricot, something to organize your fabric with, Steam-A-Seam 2, the fabric, and your pattern, and that's where we start. So here we go, and we'll see how far we get today. And I'm going to binge. Let's see what show am I binging right now. I'm binging Sons of Anarchy, so it's been pretty good so far. I think after this one I'm going to have to go to some happy place, though, because lots of killing and stuff in Sons of Anarchy. But it's been a pretty good show anyway. You all know that I watch stuff while I work, so it's always a good what show am I binging. So I've been binging Sons of Anarchy. I think I'm in the 4th season, so it'll be done before the quilt's done. But I will let you know what I changed to. And so that's part 2. Thank you, John Russell, again. So appreciate you giving us this opportunity. And we're raising money for Best Buddies. And thank you, Nashville Predators. And I even have my Smashville shirt on today. Woo, go Preds. Anyway, all right. We'll we'll let you all see the time-lapse stuff and see how that comes together. All right, talk to you later.